You're listening to the Roofing Success Podcast, a show created to inspire roofing contractors to achieve optimal success in their roofing businesses. I'm the host, Jim Moline, the co-author of the book, Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors, How to Triple Your Sales and Turn Your Roofing Website into an Online Lead Generation Machine. I'm also the co-founder of Roofer Marketers, the digital marketing agency for the roofing industry. On each episode, I'll be sitting down with industry leaders to talk about their processes, the lessons they've learned, and how to find success in roofing. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. As always, please share, please comment wherever you're at. So if you're on iTunes, leave us a review there. If you're on YouTube watching us, leave us a review there. Any of the podcast networks. Also, if you're interested, go to Facebook and look up Roofing Success. We have a group that you can join and join in on the conversations around the episodes that we're having here. And if you're finding value and you're executing on some of the information that you're hearing on the podcast, and post that on social media with the hashtag Roofing Success, and we'd love to share that also. So today we're going to talk with Gilad Rubinsky down in DFW, and he's not chasing storms. We were just talking, and he's like, "Man, hail's falling, and he's not chasing storms." So
no, we don't need that.
Interesting thing, man. So Gilad, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into roofing, and a little bit about Rubinsky Roofing.
So first of all, I grew up in Israel. I'm married to Ortal and have 3 beautiful children. I'm the owner and CEO, and she's also Ortal, owner, CEO of Rubinsky Roofing. And I never imagined in a million years that I will do anything like this. The only thing that has anything to do with roofing that I always was is a salesperson ever since I knew myself. Long story short, when I wasn't sure what I'm going to do after I, made money from sport gambling and poker and selling mattresses, I had 17 interviews in one day, and there was one person and one industry that I was very intrigued by. I never knew anything about roofing, and the way that it was described is I don't need to keep any stuff, and it's about the people, and there's, so many ways to help, and it's something that will always be needed. And I got hooked, and I'm there ever since. The official start was the very beginning of 2016.
Okay.
Which was, if not the biggest, one of the biggest storms our area ever had. It was, yeah. It was so bad that people got evacuated for almost a year out of their homes in Wiley. So it was a big start. So
okay, and so that kicked it off, right? That was the kickoff, and then that was, you had started off with a different brand, right? CPE Roofing was the name of the company.
So first of all, for the history, I didn't start out of the gate with my own company. I worked for another company in 2016. Got up to running the company. Different reasons as happened in business, we parted ways. And yes, we started in the end of 2018 with CPE Roofing, which stands for Consistent, Persistent, Efficient. And we did a total rebrand the first of this year, and it was very costly. It was, it was a risk because CPE is fairly known for what we did so far, but it worked perfectly. It's very clean, and what it does, it represents what we want everybody to know. We're a family-owned business, and what we do is roofing. That's the only thing we know how to do. That's what we believe we do best, and I hope that one day when people see this, they think about roofing, and that's it. And also, we're very focused now. It's about DFW. It's not about any other area. There's a lot of great roofing companies out there. We don't need any of that. We live here.
And that's an interesting thing. We've talked previously, and you were telling me like, yeah, I wanted this to be the biggest roofing company in the,
yes.
In the country, or,
yes.
in the world, maybe, right? You had high aspirations, and then things changed. What changed?
So first of all, I think my aspirations now are much bigger because they're realistic, and they're not, every person says, I want the best roofing company in the world. And okay, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
When I was the best goalie in my neighborhood, when I was in Israel, that was amazing to me. And I'm going back to that because that's realistic. So when we started, we were in the Paris area. We have a build today in Paris, Texas, almost the last build in Paris, and then we're getting out. And it's an amazing place. And we've been to Waco, but in order to be the best, and in order to make sure you're consistent, persistent, efficient, which we still preach, we need to do something we can control. So if I have 13 people and I want to dominate Texas, I'm delusional. And if I'm going to on a hiring spree and I'm going to get 100 people, I'm not going to have control over that, over the quality. So I can touch everyone, but I'm not going to be a Rubinsky Roofing. So coronavirus, different people that work for me, my wife more than anything, she's the smartest person in the world. And I'm like, okay, let's refocus. DFW is massive.
Yeah.
The storms here are constant. People need our help almost more than any other place in the country. If we can save the day in DFW, I mean, as Jesus we say, you save one life, you save a whole world. If I can save DFW, that's a massive start.
That's right, man. That's awesome. And that's a great refocus. What led you to that?
Quality.
Quality.
So I preached in the beginning, and I still do. Legendary customer service, legendary workmanship. I'm not there for the customer I'm not there to get your roof paid for and for the insurance to give you all this money. I'm there for those two things and those two things only. And when we started reaching out to Paris and Waco, all of a sudden my 7 stages are 6.5 or 6. And I'm like, this is not me. I mean, my face, my cell phone number, my last name, my future, my kids. So I like I said, I think now the aspirations are even greater because they're realistic.
Yeah. And what did you'd mentioned your 7 stages, right? And that was something that you put in place for that quality, right? To produce that quality. Explain what you did there.
So to be fair, when I started in the roofing industry, the person that owned the company is a very nice person, very inspiring, and I followed him, and that's what I do. If I work for him, I'm gonna follow you.
Yeah.
And then when things fell out, I started doing a lot of research, and I saw that there's a right way, there's a proper way, like anything in life, to build a roof. For example, before that, I was in the mattress industry. There's a lot of mattresses that are built incorrectly. So I found that the only way to build a roof are 7 stages. The first stage is a clean deck. Now, that is the biggest thing about what we do is that most companies, and I don't have an exact statistic, the only thing I know is what I saw and what I experienced, and I've seen thousands of roofs built here in DFW. Most companies don't go down to the deck. So if you don't go down to a clean deck, nothing else you do matters. Okay, so let's say you put ice and water shield. You're putting it in correctly. It's supposed to be on the deck. You're using synthetic felt. Okay, great, but you don't know what's going on in the deck. What if it's broken and rotten? You're replacing vents. Okay, that's fabulous. But if the attic is in shambles, you don't know anything about it because you're not going down to the deck. I mean, I can go on forever. Shingles.
Yeah.
You can install the most expensive shingles in the market. They're going to look fabulous. What's going to happen? Blisters everywhere. There's an area here in DFW called South Lake. Beautiful homes. There's more blisters than I've seen in my life because these are massive roofs that are not properly ventilated because whoever built them did not build the roof properly. So another thing that we talk about, it's not advertised on the 7 stages, but I'm going to make sure your roof is ventilated properly. A roof is not only shingles. So if I build a 100-square roof and I put 2 turtles, oh, good for me. I'm an asshole. So the 7 stages is something I guarantee, and we're not paying for anybody involved in the job, and this is very known here, unless the 7 stages are proven. And it's not just a nice fancy shot on one slope. You need to show me the story of the build. I don't care if it's videos, I don't care if it's pictures, because at the end of the day, if I promise a customer something and I wasn't at the build and now the roof is ready, I want to be able to show that to the customer,
So you're starting with a clean deck, right?
Yes.
And then you're moving on.
Ice and water shield. Okay, synthetic felt, starter strip, drip edge, shingles, ventilation.
Okay, so now we have your 7 stages.
And before we continue, one major thing as well, because people, they can combat me all day. Let's say another company does 7 stages. Do you know how to install drip edge correctly? Now, most people don't. Okay. Most people take the drip edge on the eaves and they put it over the felt. That's incorrect. And on the rigs, they do it the other way around. So it's not only about 7 stages, it's about doing it correctly. You know,
correctly
if I
in the
see
proper
a roof,
order. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, I go down to the deck. Now I can do the other 6 stages, but what did I do on the deck? I had a redeck we did, I'm pretty sure yesterday, where, you know, we're repairing one, we're repairing the second. I was like, okay, we need a redeck. Now I could still honor my 7 stages, but I'm compromising the most important part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I want everybody to remember, is that 7 stages is great, but make sure it's done correctly every single time.
Every single stage is done correctly.
Everything.
Yeah.
It has to. And the way we guarantee it, because words are nice and all, we have a W-2 employee, a project hero at the job site from start to finish. If he goes to pee, they stop the job. That's how we do it.
So you're really dialing in on that quality, and that's so that's that's kind of turned into your unique selling proposition, right? That's how you're selling Rubinsky Roofing as a choice in the market, right? So how do you explain that to the homeowners?
So what I was used to, and from what I see, that's the norm. I used to talk about a specific manufacturer, and I would talk very heavily about the insurance process. Now, I don't come from this world. I come from a world of sales, which I have a product and I need to prove that the product is the best, and whatever I'm charging, they should pay for. So I decided to think about my industry the exact same way. Basically, if I can convince you as the expert that you indeed need a new roof, and it's going to cost you this much in order to get the best roofing system, which is mine, even if you don't have insurance, it doesn't matter. You're getting a new roof. So the insurance process and all that stuff, that's just an added bonus that exists. Now, do we know how it works? Of course we do. Are we going to help you during the process? Yes, but you're not hiring me based on that. You're signing a binding contract that hires me as your contractor, okay? And that's what I'm there for. So I'm selling you on the fact that you need to replace your roof. And by the way, we don't do repairs, so it's a full roof replacement. And you believe me as the expert and everything I have to show you to prove I'm the expert, that must be done. Okay? Now, just for the record, yes, the contract is a contingency contract. If the insurance denies it in full, they don't owe anything. But then we don't walk away like most contractors do. No, we set up a meeting and we say, okay, the insurance process for whatever reason didn't, go your way. That's fine. The fact that your roof must be replaced did not change. So now let's talk about a cash bid and make sure you get a proper roof. And then next time, hopefully your insurance will cover it, but that's totally that side. We are the best roofing company. That's what I want to be. And that's how we sell it. And that's how we talk about it.
That's awesome. And that's definitely a different mindset down in the DFW, right? Like, it's such an insurance based, game or business down there that that's a different shift. And
it's hard to blame. It's very hard to blame because that's what you're taught and that's what everybody knows.
Yep.
But I know we can change it. And once we change it, it's better for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So what type of marketing do you do to attract your business?
So that's my little hobby because I never learned it, but I always wanted to be a marketer.
Okay.
So I spend most of my day on Instagram, Facebook, making sure everything looks clean. And that's the biggest thing about our marketing. I want something very clean, something very different. It's not in your face. We're a roofing company, free estimates, free inspections. That's not what we're about. But I think our social media for how long we're in business, which is a little over 2 years, is impressive. And the biggest focus in our marketing, which is working, is 2 things people like to see. Is one, videos of the actual work. And it's amazing how much they love the videos of the deck. And I get that. And the second part is the people. There's so many deals. My dad started working for me about 2 months ago as a sales guy. And he closes almost every deal thanks to our YouTube page. Our YouTube page has currently 123 video reviews and a bunch of different videos that just show the people that are working. You know, you can see them at the office, on the roofs, lunch together. And yes, all roofing companies have pretty good ways of morale, but they don't show it. They show a roof. I mean, every person can walk out of the house and look at a shingle. People ask me for references. Like, okay, so I'm going to give you an address. You're going to go to the house. You're going to see shingles. You're not judging me based on anything. If you can talk to the customer, that's different. Yeah. But you can see my videos. You can read the reviews. You can see everything we're about. Our pages show a lot about, you know, our people. Why they like to work here. What does it mean? And, you know, and you can see how real it is, because the environment here is so different. You can see it through the videos. And basically the marketing is just to show people what we do and that we don't apologize about it. And we're very, very focused on what we think we're the absolute best.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that really comes across. That authenticity comes across, right? What did, where did this come from? Where did you decide, hey, this is the way, like, this is a good idea. Like, let me just pull out my phone and start filming.
So the obsession to marketing started from my dad. He, with his brother, brought Burger King to Israel when I was, I think, 5 or 6 years old. Okay. I have a blog about it in my website. No one reads anything, but it's there for the last 2 years. And his obsession for quality of customer service, and even for food when you're selling junk like that, was amazing. And I never forgot it. So it's a level, you know, everybody says that, you know, I never lie, full integrity, full honesty. It's all nonsense. The bottom line that I saw is that he gave amazing customer service, even to sometimes ridiculous situations. And he really, really cared about the product. And, you know, now as someone that goes to therapy, I know that those years really matter. And that really resonated, that wanting to build that brand the right way. Yeah. And the marketing aspect is so massive. I mean, Burger King literally just changed their logo back to what it was when I was a kid. And that small little switch, millions of dollars. It's beautiful. Yeah. So marketing, that's what you do very well, is magic. And unfortunately, I think most people use it to deceive us. But something like yours, where we can just, I mean, this is not edited, not nothing. We're talking. Yeah. That's awesome. That's amazing.
And that's what it is. Like it's when you can just, if you really stand behind what you do and you want to do something great, right? Like, and have, like you were saying from your father, wanting to have great customer service and great, like exceptional, like wanting to be exceptional and showing that and doing that every day. It's marketing, but it's amazing how that is marketing.
Exactly. I agree with you. It's so natural.
Does that make sense? Like, yes. It's not, you don't have to be deceitful in your marketing when you're just trying to put out the best product that you can put out.
And right? By the way, to what you're saying, and this is, I mean, all these lessons at the end of the day, all the refocus, and this is not just me plugging in. My wife is absolutely the one that drove all of it. Yeah. But what you said is, people, doesn't matter how smart they may be, they can smell bullshit so easily. It's really amazing. So I tell my guys, by the way, I don't have a sales pitch. I don't have anything said that they need to talk about. There's a process they need to follow, documents they need to follow, but you talk to a person like he's a person. Yeah. And that resonates in marketing, especially in roofing. I mean, even the biggest roofing companies in the nation that are billion-dollar companies, they're still operating just like my company. It's still moms and pops. It's still, you know, it's the same quality of marketing, and that's what it works. People want someone local. They want someone that is close to them as possible. And sometimes they'll compromise quality and all that stuff in the roofing industry just for that. So yes, you're right. Just say it the way it is. It's not that hard, and people know it.
And that's one of the things you had mentioned, your guys' YouTube channel and the you know, I don't know, I think you're up to what, 123 video customer testimonials.
Yes.
And so how do you get these customers to go on video with you? Because I see this as and this is why I want to say it, because I think it's a mental block for people a lot of times. They just think that they can't, they wouldn't want to do that for me.
So first of all, my mindset is that there's no one is allowed to say the word can't in Rubinsky Roofing, because it's not true. Everything is your choice. Now, first of all, most people see my video review and the amount, they think that we pay people for that it's staged. This is how we do it. And this is how I train my people to do it. Take out your phone, come out at the end of the job. They're happy. Hey, what do you think about the job? And boom. Now, and that's really all we do. Now, sometimes, like we had one yesterday where they really wanted to look great for it. But because we are so real and so genuine about it and so upfront and so direct, and we do a fantastic job, they do it. They do it. But the biggest thing is there's a statistic. 97% of people say, how would they give out a referral? By the salesperson simply asking. That's it. And I think you had a video about it from someone saying it, and it's so true. Yeah. It's the smallest things. It's like sitting in a restaurant, and are you going to stop the waiter to ask for something small, or are you going to be that person who just sits there and waits and suffers forever?
Yeah.
Just say it.
You'll never
just ask for it. And worst thing to do when my guys door knocking is a very big part of what we do. Yep. Okay, they say no and no and no and no. You keep going. You just ask for it. What does it matter? You know what I'm saying? We're not doing anything bad. We're doing something beautiful, we're saving lives. Not everybody sees it that way. And by the way, to be clear to everybody, I'm from Israel, and it's very easy for us to come to America and just ask because no one is used to it, and it works. It really does work really well.
It's amazing. It's amazing what you get when you ask for it.
I mean, and I tell my kids, and they're, the oldest one is 5. Always ask, and I can always say no.
That's right.
And it's
I
so
encourage
simple.
The same thing. I encourage the same thing, and I encourage negotiation also.
Agreed.
My children.
It's important. Yeah, you're not always right.
Yeah, if you want to negotiate with me, you may not win the negotiation, but I'll negotiate. I am willing to have a negotiation with you. You are willing to open a negotiation at any point in time. So.
And by the way, if we're talking about our business, and this is something I tell customers, that I have customers that, how people, they have to say, I'm sorry to be an asshole, and then they start talking. And when they say it, I love customers that start that way, because you're going to tell me exactly the truth, everything you want, everything you expect. And I much rather have that than surprises. Because of what happens in our industry in DFW, a lot of customers believe that they need to hide things. They need to, worry about different contractors, where in reality, and I always tell the customer, if you talk to me openly right now, before you signed anything, that's when we're all protected. After you sign, after you hired me, I want, 100% peace of mind that we got this and we understand each other.
Yeah.
So it's so important in both ways. And, we also promote openness from the other side by us being so direct. When you're very direct, the other person also wants to be open. Everybody wants to be real.
That's right.
So it really works really well.
And so what is you had said, coming from Israel, and coming here, people aren't used to it. Is this just like, this is just how day-to-day life is, right? You just ask for things, or
everybody watching us went to a mall in America, and there was a kiosk in the mall, and someone tried to stop you. Those are Israelis, right?
Yeah.
And the reason that we started in America, now it's a little harder, but back in the day it was really easy, because Americans are very nice, very polite, and they'll say what you want to hear, which in reality means lying. Okay. Yeah. Now, what we like to say in Israel is just, I want to know if you like me or hate me or whatever. Speak the truth, be blunt. Sometimes it comes across as rude, but you know exactly where you stand. And with our customers and our customer service and everything we do, okay, legendary customer service doesn't mean that every time anything is said, we say amen. No, we will do everything we promise we're going to do. And like you said, there's going to be a conversation, negotiation, but at the end of the day, facts are facts. Okay. So in Israel, it's an everyday thing. Yes. You speak openly, feelings get hurt, but now I know the truth. And now we're going to be even better friends.
Yeah.
And it's, it's a reality of where we live, is that tomorrow, this country, the United States, is so amazing that I can go to sleep and know that tomorrow I can wake up and all is good. Where in Israel, it's an existence where tomorrow maybe we're not going to be here.
That's true.
So it's a different mentality.
Definitely a different mentality.
Yes,
definitely, man. and that's what I think. I think a lot of times I've spoken with I've had a couple people on the show that have that have immigrated from different places to the United States, and my family immigrated to the United States, my mother, and so I understand that a little bit more.
Yes.
It hits home right there, and it's amazing how how we look at the opportunities look different, right?
Of course.
There's so much opportunity, and it's an amazing thing. And you've been really working hard at that. You've been opening those doors and making opportunity for yourself. And so how, you guys do a lot of door to door. How do you get your employees trained up on on making sure that they're following the 7-stage system and the processes, and ensuring that quality build that you're doing?
So the biggest thing that I have in this company is focus. So when someone wakes up in the morning and thinks about what he does for Rubinsky Roofing, it's not much. Sales guys do sales. Okay, they have nothing to do with production. So after a work order is done, a check is turned in, that's it. The salesperson is done. And now there's a whole other certain staff that takes care of it. That's the first thing that I did that really separates us, because as a salesperson, if you want me to supervise a build, I will supervise a build. But if you're paying me, that's why I'm getting paid today, to supervise this build. I'm not moving.
Yeah.
Because that's how I get paid. So that's a massive, massive, massive difference. As far as training goes, our training is very different. We talk about mindset 99% of the time, and basic and knowledge of the craft, maybe 1%. And the reason is because what we do is so simple. I always say it's not rocket science. We're building a roof. It's very simple. Once you understand it once, you understand it forever. Once you understand the scope of loss to help a customer read it, when the insurance process comes along, that's it. You know it. Now, I know for a lot of people that watching, is like, no, you need to repeat it over and over again. It's all about how you explain it and how you show it, and how you and who you show it to. Because not everybody in the company needs to know everything. I had a customer that was a little upset last week because we couldn't, one of my heroes, sales guys, didn't know what radiant barrier means. And she called me, and I told her, listen, I didn't train them on that because no one ever literally asked about it. So it's a waste of my time. I'm not going to be efficient by doing so. Now you're talking to me, so I know the answer, and I'll give you the answer. And if I don't know it, I can get it for you. But my sales guys that are commission-based, they need to be as efficient as possible. So, there's no reason to have a meeting for an hour or two with a customer. What they need to know is that this roof needs to be replaced, that we're the best at what we do, and this is why. And, our guys can literally just show them a phone or an iPad, and here's everything. We have an app, a beautiful app that shows the 7 stages. I worked as a waiter. In the beginning, you read from the menu. Working for me, you can read from the menu forever. You just need to make sure that you convey it correctly and you stay true to it. It's all there. There's no certain pitch when you talk to people. I had a customer that was, not a customer, one of my guys was super nervous before a meeting. I was like, listen, if you met this person in a bar and he started talking to you, how would it go? He's like, perfectly. Do the same thing. You know all the facts. Just go and talk to the person. You know all the facts. And if you don't know, and that's one of the reasons it's easy to work here, I'm available 24/7. And if not me, one of the other guys. We're all connected. This is a family that does this 24/7, 365, because when you save lives, you don't just go to sleep and take a day off. And we are saving lives. But we're here for each other. So if you're new, you're not actually new. Maybe the customer, is not going to get everything right away, but he's going to get what he needs. We're a team. And by the way, I would just want to, one last thing about what you said about the coming from other countries. This is another thing that we're very proud of here, is the diversity.
Yeah.
People come here from all over the world, and it's really, really cool. And this is something amazing about an industry like this one, where people can come from nothing, literally, an American dream in a matter of a few months.
It's
just work hard,
amazing, isn't it? Like, it's amazing.
It's really
cool.
Just
takes a little bit of boots and knuckles, right?
Yes, and not let it defeat you. And even if you don't sell a job for 2 weeks, but you're gonna do this for 12 hours a day, you're gonna get there.
You'll get there. Yep, that's awesome. And then, so how do you you had said on the build side. So you're what's the title? Because I heard on the sales side you call them heroes.
So I'll just so the reason we call ourselves heroes is because by replacing a roof, we're saving more than one life, but we're saving that whole household from mold, from the diseases that come from mold, from ceiling collapsing and whatnot. So on the job site, first of all, this is something that we're very proud of. It's the same people. So we do not build roofs with just random people all the time. So we have crews that we know.
Yeah.
And then we have a W-2 employee that he's a project hero. That's what we call them.
Okay. Project.
That his sole purpose, he comes there before 7 a.m. and he must stay there to make sure that everything is complete. And we do a pre-build process, which is before we even have the job. So we're fully prepared for the job, which is something that is very, very, it saved us from so many issues. And then to finish the job right, in order to get paid for that day, the project hero does what's called a post-build. So it's a full inspection of everything. Again, water heaters, vents, attics, interior. We literally go to every room in the house. I don't care if you're embarrassed about that room. We're going in there to make sure that everything is perfect. Because when I give you my warranty, I don't want you to use it. I want to make sure that I did it right. So we take it very seriously. Also, efficiency for me is massive because I'm paying people for time. And if you're going to, not do the post build at the highest level and you need to go back there tomorrow to do it, now that's one less build I have. That's not okay. So these things really matter. And also to give the customer the peace of mind, you know what, the job is done. I'm done with this thing. It's not dragging out. Next step is to just pay them what I owe. I get in my warranty. Life is good.
And so your production hero, do you bonus or compensate them in any way around the meeting the quality standards of your company?
Yes, there's a lot. Yes, that's so it changes all the time. I like to make it exciting. We have something called Rubinsky bucks, which is massive. And I'm looking for it.
There you go.
Okay.
If you're watching if you're listening, he just pulled out some Rubinsky bucks.
Yes. So it's beautiful. And this is the only store on planet Earth where you can literally buy anything that is legal and where we live in. So basically, as working for Rubinsky Roofing, you can do something like, all the builds that week had no issues whatsoever. Customer was happy throughout, all that stuff. And you get, let's say, $500,000 Rubinsky bucks. And with that, our conversion rate, that's worth a certain amount of dollars.
Yep.
And what you do is, let's say you want an iPhone. So you find the iPhone, you send it to our CFO, and based on that conversion rate, you're getting an iPhone. So bonuses for me are, it's weird. I love giving them, but I hate the fact they exist because I even if you didn't pay me, I will do my job at the highest level. That's what I learned from my dad, right? Yeah. But I get it. That's a different world. So we have competitions and bonuses all the time. I mean, and the Rubinsky bucks, we have one of my guys, he's 20 years old. I'm not going to say a name because then I'm going to have to shout out to everybody. But he knows who he is. And I mean, everything in his house now is coming from this. Bed frames and wallets and aftershaves and whatever. He's buying groceries for 3 months. There's everything. So yes, we bonus them and we make it fun, and it's working well.
That's unique, man. That's really a unique, fun thing to do.
Yes,
everybody loves it. Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. That's great. What would you say? I know that you have we already talked a little bit about the review process and your just asking for the reviews. Are there any specific questions that you have your sales heroes ask in that, or it's just
so this is how I view it?
Yeah.
And I love to lead by example. When I come to the job site, they always get frustrated because I make it look so simple, but I'm not doing anything special. I'm doing the same thing every single time. I come to the job site. I'm very confident. I know the job is going great. I'm approaching the homeowner and I'm like, my name is, I never introduce myself as the owner unless it's needed.
Yeah.
Because the way I carry myself is enough. My name is Gilad Rubinsky from Rubinsky Roofing. I'm so happy that we can do this today. And by the way, I wanted to, get your opinion about the job. And now I record. Second step, I open the phone. I go to BBB. You have the form. Can you please fill it out? Tell me what you think. And I could easily do this, but it's not needed because when you don't do it, people do it more willingly. I don't even say the 5-star. You don't need to say it.
No.
They're not going to do a 1-star in front of your face. And one time that I had a customer and that person, it was the best 2 hours ever because he actually went at me. So everything he was upset at for 2 hours, instead of giving the 1 star, I was like, okay, first of all, thank you, because you're giving me an opportunity not to receive the 1 star. And I was able to address everything, but it also opened my eyes about everything else. We're not perfect. And that one viewpoint matters tremendously. But, as far as getting reviews, yesterday we got an amazing video review, our 123, but we didn't get any written reviews. And I'm asking the projecteers, like, did you ask? Like, no. And that was the only reason we didn't get it.
That's the
if
reason.
He would ask, obviously we would get it. If you come to someone that is happy with you at their happiest moment, which it should be the happiest moment, the roof was done. Yeah. They're open, they're gonna do it. A moving company comes to you when the move is done. And they're smart enough to know how good they are. I use the same moving company every single time. We move a lot, and they always get the 5-star because they're awesome, and they always ask for it at the end. So we're not delusional about our reviews, but I can tell you that, we're approaching in 2 years 1,000 roofs, and I can think about very few people that weren't happy after the roof was done, because the stages we take, even if something was bad in the beginning, which happens, people, sometimes you have bad apples, we fix it with our process and with our roof and with our workmanship beats everything. If I'm a rude salesperson, but you got that Rolex and you love that Rolex, you forget about me so quick. So.
You had mentioned that there was one specific customer that you asked for a review from, and it turned into a couple-hour conversation, and they really, that was a lesson.
Yes.
I love that. Like, I think that there's always lessons to learn if you're paying attention, right? And so what did you learn from that experience, and what changes did you make to improve your process?
And what's amazing about this, and this is something like my guys can tell you how simple. I talk about deep things, but they're very simple. The issue that every customer has when they go on a 2-hour rent, and I sold mattresses, and I sold, was in kiosks and malls and puzzles and computers and websites. It's always about communication. That's all they complain about. It's insane how people don't understand that. Let's say someone gives you a $10,000 loan. As long as you answer the phone, as long as you return text, you have a line of communication. And I know I help people all the time. That's all you need. That's that peace of mind. So when the customer goes on the rant, the easiest thing to do is, here's AccuLinks. You see, we called, but it's a perception. So when we know that we called more often than most, when he needed us, when he was frustrated the most, that's when he felt that we didn't answer the phone. Now, I have so many things in place to try to prevent it, but it's not going to cover everything. We have a answering line 24/7. You can call us anytime. It gets to my phone right away. I don't sleep. I'm going to see it. My cell phone number is almost everywhere. Our cell phone numbers are giving out very freely. I mean, we're a very open company when it comes to communication. You also talk to our people throughout the process in every step. A lot of people say, hey, too many people involved, over communication. And I'm never going to change that because that saves me so many times. So to your question, the biggest thing that I did is I have a person that his almost entire existence is to address red flags. So the deal is signed. We got hired. The next day it's reviewed. And then if there's the slightest red flag, we're calling the customer. And we're not proceeding to any next step before that person and the customer feels they're on the same page. And then on the day of the build, I should never come to the day of the build and have a customer frustrated about communication that happened, I don't know, a few weeks ago when we started the process. That should have been addressed then. So and people don't understand that customers are going to remember. We call at the end, we have a 4.8 average on QC calls in the past, since we started, which is awesome. But I'm upset because those differences, it's for stupid stuff. It's for small things. Like it's not that people say, 4.9 because no one is perfect. They say 4.5 because I found 2 nails in the yard, and it took you guys 2 days to come. And these little things matter, and I know they matter because as a customer, I'm the same way. So those are the things I need to change. If there's bundles in the driveway, they need to be picked up within 24 hours, not 48.
Yeah.
It's an inconvenience. And those things are a difference between a referral and not a referral. And that can be a life changer for a company.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? Like the something small like that, right? Something small like that can change the whole perception of the
but that's the world. Right? World War I starts from little things like, and I know this because my guys will tell you, I will not get angry over the big stuff, but that little thing I can fire because that little thing adds up and adds up. And then, you ignore it and it builds up. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's in our face. I'm not getting there. It's not worth it.
So are you doing anything else on production day to create a raving fan out of that homeowner, or to kind of showcase your company to the neighborhood?
So we have, again, our look is very clean. Okay. It's a logo and that's it. Rubinsky Roofing. We are roofing, which is our motto. So yes, we have very, very nice big flags, a tent. This is not consistent, but something I really want to introduce back because I love it as an adult, is lemonade and cookies. And when you give that for free, people stop. Doesn't matter who you are. You can be rich, you can be poor. You're going to stop. And I do it every time. I live in a nice neighborhood. When they have lemonade and cookies, I stop and I buy it every time. Yeah. So that's something small that I try to do. I really think that the fact that our job site is so quiet and so clean, and that is so different, and because everybody in DFW saw a build. They don't know what it means, but they know the music they heard. They know the beer cans they saw. Yeah. They know the chicken wings they saw. And all of a sudden, when they see a job site and it's so clean and so quiet, they stop, especially if they walk a dog. Because if they walk a dog and it's loud, they're running away. If it's quiet, they stop. So our job site, I'm gonna tell you this. I take it to the extreme. I, as the owner of this company, had on 2 occasions take someone off a roof because he wouldn't shut down music.
Yeah.
And obviously this person will never represent and be on my roof again. But I'm, as a homeowner, okay, my wife she is sensitive to really good customer service. I don't need that music on my job site. You're not going to smoke on my roof. You're going to wait with that cigarette for the end of the job. And if you want to smoke, that's perfectly fine. Go away. And if you guys want to drink beer, after the job. So anyway, these things are very strict in my company, very strict. It's all in writing. It's not guesswork. They know exactly what we expect. We make sure they know about it in the day of the job. We remind people are not perfect. We don't just, hey, get out. We talk.
Yeah.
But ego comes into place, and sometimes they need to be removed. But the customer is not going to be compromised. And that experience, as much as possible, is going to be amazing. It's a job site. Things happen. People fall through decks and sprinkler heads, break, and AC lines get punctured. It's construction. And in Texas, there's no code, so it happens. But life is good, and we set expectations. So people come to our job site because the branding is very clean. The job site is very nice to be at.
Yeah.
And our guys are very hands-on. How are you doing? My name is Gilad Rubinsky. I'm a project hero for Rubinsky Roofing. Is there anything I can do? Because, there's paper felt on every roof we go on, and that paper felt goes everywhere. And we use those things to get more deals. I mean, we're here to make money.
That's right. So what do you do any sort of like long-term follow-up with the customers that you've done and try and, what do you do there?
Yes. So we're very annoying. Okay. So we call our customers once a month. So they talk to us 12 times a year. Now it's becoming a very tedious task, very difficult to do because we're growing, thank God. Yeah. But that's the goal, to talk to them once a month. And this is why. Again, I'm from Israel. If we have a problem, we call. Americans don't. So if you call them, then you can catch it. Hey, how are you doing? And there's like, yeah, you know what? Thank you so much for calling. Last week, I noticed this. And then that issue doesn't become black mold and people are sick. And now we need to fight a warranty battle because you didn't call me in 12 months, even though we told you that you need to call us to report any issue immediately. It doesn't matter. You say they don't do it. So I don't wait for that chance. So we do a lot of that, email blasting, in a very moderate way. It's not every week in your face. I'll do that maybe twice a year when there's something big I want to talk about. But to me, it's really Elon Musk that I have mixed feelings about. Talks about the phone as us being cyborgs.
Yeah.
And I believe that there's a lot of mixed feelings I have about the era we live in, but this thing is amazing. So that's our biggest power. Call, text, send a message, go to Facebook, whatever. Like we have customers on Facebook. The communication is so simple, so easy. It's all the time.
Yeah, there's so many ways to communicate with customers now. It's so easy.
So when you lack in communication, that's to me is outrageous.
That's a big problem in 2021.
and by the way, lack of communication, and I share it too. So I preach it. A day is too long.
Yeah.
Especially if they gave you some money. It doesn't matter if it's an insurance check, if it's an out-of-pocket payment. Now there's money. Now they want to see work, and we're sensitive to these things. Okay, we're not apologetic about what we take and our process and what we charge. We build the best roofing system. We're very proud of it, but we're sensitive to the process, and we know what they go through.
That's walking in their shoes in this process, right? Like,
you have to.
And you and I both have, you write those checks. That person better call. That person better answer their phone, right? When the checks get written, that's a big deal.
So what you just said is what I try to teach my people. Don't forget that a week ago you knew nothing about insurance process, nothing about roofing, and now you're mad about these people. And a week ago, if you were in their shoes, you would be just like them. So I'm not saying agree with them because they're wrong. I'm saying educate them because you didn't know yourself. And by the way, I didn't know either. I worked for a company for years. I had a lot of people work for me, amazing people. And there's a lot of things we were taught that were wrong. And until I did the research and learned, that's what I taught. Now I had the opportunity, thank God, to fix it and teach the right way. And I'm doing this to this date. And I gave opportunity to all those people to also learn it again. But people don't know. If everybody in the neighborhood is getting a roof without paying anything out of pocket, why am I any different? Okay, let me tell you why. Because you're the only one that is going to get the only and best roofing system out of any roof in the neighborhood. But if you don't teach them that, why do you expect them to pay the out of pocket? Why are you mad at those people? That's not fair. Those are the things that you have to relate.
Yeah.
Like, I ask often my customers, what do you do for a living? And if I don't have any knowledge about that, that's what I usually want. It's perfect because that way I can show them, hey, I don't know anything about what you do, right? I just got a tattoo. And the tattoo artist is, he's asking me, this is okay. It's like, dude, you're the pro. I would not let you tattoo my body if I didn't think you're the best. So when I build your roof, you better not say a thing. And that's what they need to understand. When you hire me, I'm the expert. I know the best for you. I had a lot of customers try to educate us on how to do a roof. And we told them, if this is how it's going to go, we part ways. I didn't tell them they're wrong. I told them how I do it. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't want to work that way, why would I put my name on it? It's crazy to me. So relate to people, educate people. And if they're so stubborn that you're not going to get to them, guess what? We're not big enough to service everyone. So just move on.
Not everyone is your customer.
No.
That's what we do this in our businesses where we try to serve everyone, but not everyone is your customer. Or your perfect customer, your ideal customer.
100%. I mean, that for sure.
It's just the truth. And so that check that you get for that job is not worth the time and effort that will come from what you have to put into it, right? This
is something I had no concept of for 32 years, and I just learned where, to me, it was always the bottom line. If I make $100, that's cool. I'm going to go all in. And now, as you grow as a business owner, you see how you're literally paying people for their time, and you are chasing this thing for months for this amount of money that if you forgot about it from the get-go, you would make so much more. Now, you need to be careful not to make exceptions that become rules.
That's right.
But if you're smart and if you really understand and you're being logical about it, my CFO one time, she told me something. She's like, but I might be wrong. It's like, you're not wrong and you're not right. This is what you're saying about this situation. Yeah. And now at the end of the day, it's my authority. So I'm going to decide, but it's not about right or wrong.
Yeah.
So many things are not about right or wrong.
For sure. So what's the greatest insight that you could share with our audience that's helped you find success in your roofing business? I mean, you grew, your first full year was what, 2019, you hit about 3 million in revenue. Yeah. 2020, you doubled, you're at 6 million this year. You're trying to get to 15 million. You're really pushing that, pushing hard on it. What is the greatest insight that you can share with our audience that has helped you find success in your roofing business?
I know it's super broad, but that's what I always lack in personal life. And I have so much here is focus. Is most of my competition, most of the other roofing companies out there, they do everything. And they do it in order to compensate for so much other things. And they do it in order to make things work. Trust me, I know. But at the end of the day, the most successful brands, people, anybody, are the people that find focus, people that do one thing really, really well. That one person that does the best sushi in the world, he does the best sushi in the world. And that's all he does, the best in the world. So when I talk to my guys, when I talk to customers, when I'm doing this podcast, whatever, I want people to look at me as a simpleton. It's like, hey, dude, you're like, that's all you do? You know nothing else? I know nothing else. I'm the best at what I do in DFW, and thank you for that. And also, by the way, that helped me with the numbers you said. I'm a number guy. I always want to be the best and crush goals. And if you want me to sign 15, I'm going to sign 30. But as a 33-year-old with a family, and so many people in the roofing industry have families, which is amazing and beautiful. It's okay if you do 3 million, 6 million, 6 million, 6 million, 6 million, 6 million, 6 million until you're dead. That's amazing. That's amazing. Like, so many people have maintained jobs just to get a 5% increase on their salary, maybe per year. And you have the ability to do $6 million a year, which is, let's say at the very least, even if you're very bad with numbers, you're going to make $100,000 as the owner to your pocket at the very least. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. So that's only my wife. I would never get to this realization without her. And thanks to that, the hardest thing in the world in our industry is to hire and retain. And thanks to this focus, I'm not spending time on hiring. Retention is very easy right now because of how we're operating and how focused we are. So I can be able to say, you know what? If I can have the same 13 people I have today at the end of the year, which is what I'm focused on right now, that is a huge success, because there's only one person that is still with me from the beginning of the company. So all this time, I didn't do a good job of retaining people because I was too focused on growing for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can take these people and each one is $1 million salesperson, instead of them doing 300, 400, 500 and have like 20 here, 30 there. And then we need to work on these files where people are a part of anymore. So focus, just focus. It's good for the customer. It's good for the business. And by the way, when you're focused, you're consistent, persistent, efficient, which is what I'm going to preach until I'm dead. And I'm happy that for a little while, the company had that name. And now we're going to continue, in our website, there's a page and it says it right there. That's our principle: consistent, persistent, efficient. And listening to my wife, I'm going to keep saying it because everything she says worked this year so far. God bless her.
This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. If you would like to generate more sales through your digital marketing efforts, please visit roofermarketers.com and get a copy of the book, Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors: How to Triple Your Sales and Turn Your Roofing Website into an Online Lead Generation Machine. Also, check the training section of the website for guides on everything from running effective pay-per-click ads to how to properly set up your Google My Business listing. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. Thanks for listening.